Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. In the last lecture, we learned about logical operators and how Python gives answers in terms of true and or false. Today, we will learn how Python makes decisions using these true and false values. The previous lectures, especially lecture number 3 and 4, which are on comparison and logical operators, are very important to understand this lecture. The material we covered there will be used in today's lecture. So today we are going to talk about the conditional statement. So you understand conditional statements are used to run code only when a condition is true. In real life, we think like this: if it is raining, take an umbrella. Similarly, for the student passing and failing, we say if marks are good, that is, say above 50, the students are pass, else student fails. So in Python, we use if, else, if, else. So let's see the scenarios where we use the if condition. So the if condition has syntax. If condition is met, then run this piece of code. So for example, one important point is that you must follow the syntax. So the syntax is the keyword. You see, if you write the keywords, then it gets a different color. One thing is this keyword, that's all small letters. Again, in else we have small letter, elif we have small letters, and you see they are colored in green. So maybe in your ID it may be different color, but always remember that it will have a different color than the normal color that normally we have for the code. Okay. And second important thing is that the either it's a if condition, it should be followed by the colon, or if this is else, again else is followed by the colon, if it is again followed by the column. So that's very important thing. You must keep in mind that you have these colon things. Well, we check if the number is positive or not. So you understand, in that case, if the number is greater than 0 or greater than or equal to 0, it is positive, otherwise it is negative. So we say if x is greater than or equal to 0, print the number is positive. So this is the syntax. So now let's use the input from the keyboard. So I'll write x is equal to input, and I say enter any number. So you understand, because the input is basically a string. So whether you enter some numeric value or you enter some characters, in both cases it is string. So we have to convert it into integer. So I'll write int and x. Okay, so now this will convert this integer, this string into input. So let's run this code. So enter any number. For example, I enter -4. So the print will display the So it will not display anything, because we are just checking the condition if the number is positive. Again, if I run the same, and I put, for example, 9. Now you see the number is positive. So this is the syntax that we write if followed by condition and then block of code. So the example is that we have this if and this is the condition and this is the block of code. So hope you understand. Now let's take the second case. We use if else when there are two cases. Okay, so in case one we had just the if condition. Now we have if else condition. So if else has the syntax of if condition is true, then run this code, else run this code. So you understand there are two cases now. If condition is met, case one is run. If doesn't meet, then case two is run. So let's write the same. So let me quickly write, for example, x equals to int, and I say, you understand we can write int or we can also write float. This is the same. So let's take the float. So input, and then I write uh, enter any number. Okay, then I put the condition if x is uh, greater than or uh, equal to 0, then print the number is positive. Okay, and then I write else print the number, the number is negative. Okay, so let's run this one. Now I enter, for example, again -4. So you see it gives the number is negative. So okay, in the first case, you understand that we didn't use the else. So in first case, if condition is met, it displays whatever. For example, here we were displaying something, otherwise there was nothing. But in this second case, because we have written that if this condition is met, write this one, execute this line of code, else execute this line of code. So let's move to the third case, okay, where we use if, elif, and else. So that means we use elif when there are more than two cases. So if condition one is met, then run this code. This is the general syntax for if, elif, and else. So if condition one is met, run this code. If condition two is met, run this code, else this one. We can remember that we can use as many number of elif condition as we required. So for example, we write the code for grades. So again, I say let we have student marks. So if marks are greater than or equal to say 90%, then we say print uh, print the student achieved, for example, a grade. Okay, then I write L if marks are greater than or equal to say 80, then we write print. Okay, let me copy from here. So say student achieved minus A grade, minus A grade And let's put one more L if, okay, marks are greater than or equal to, say, 70. So we write, let me copy it from here. Say B grade, and okay, let's say else. We just write when the student achieved, for example, not good grades. Okay, so let's again take this value from the keyboard. So I'll just write marks equals to, for example, float, and input, enter marks of the student. Okay, so let's run it. So for example, it's 85 marks. So in that case, student achieve minus A grade. So one important thing I want to discuss here is the indentation. So in Python, it is like brackets in math. So hopefully you understand that it must be, if I write this one and I say these lines of code belongs to if, then it means I should give it four spaces. If I don't give it four spaces, then that means these lines doesn't belong to if. Okay, again, so hopefully you can observe the pattern that those lines that are part of the any elif condition, they are just four spaces away. So if we talk about the elif, this one, then the lines or the block of code should be four spaces away, so that it means it belongs to this one. So hopefully you understand this one. So let's take one more example on the so let's take some examples on the logical operators. So logical operators, you understand, are and, or, and not. So and is to combine, to join two things. So let's say that there is a condition for awarding the outstanding student based on their marks and also the attendance. So there are two conditions: that students should have excellent grades, say above 90%, and they also have attendance above, say, 80%. So only those students are considered for excellent awards. So let's write a code for that one. So that means for that award, you need marks and you need the attendance. So let's say attendance is equal to, again, because attendance is integer, that is whole number, so int, and then I write input, and I write enter attendance of student. Let me copy it, Control C, and then like this, and say this is the percentage marks, say marks. So enter attendance and marks of the student. Okay, and then we have the condition if attendance is equal to or greater than, say, 80%, and then we have AND operator. and marks are greater than CK 85. Okay, when we print, you are eligible for award for, say, outstanding student for performance award. Okay, then we write else copy it. Sorry, you are not eligible for this award. Okay, so let's run this one. I write attendance is, for example, 79%, and the marks obtained are, say, 90. So, sorry, not eligible for. Okay, sorry, you are not eligible. Okay, so you see how we use the logical operators for decision making. So you understand, if we use the AND operator, at AND means this one and this one, these both condition must be satisfied in order to qualify for this one. Okay, so let's do the quick next example of OR. So let's OR, you understand, is so again. Or is that either this condition is met or the other one, then you are eligible for the award, right? So hopefully you understand this one. So let's have an example. Let x be an input. So x is equal to int, and they say input any number. Okay. Now if x is, say, less than 0 or x is greater than 100, we just say print the number is not between 0 and 100. So else you see indentation, if else, these must be aligned. Okay, so else print the number is okay. So this is how we use the OR operator. So let's run this code. For example, I write 0. So in that case, the number is between 0 and 100. Okay. We can also make it more exact, and I can say if this is equal to, if x is greater than or equal to 100, the number is not between, I know, I think that's fine. So if okay, so let's run again. And if I put 100 and So exact 101. So it gives me the number is not between 0 and 100. So I think we end the lecture here. That's all from my side for today. The practice problem are write a program that takes marks from the user, and uh, if the marks are greater than 60, print the student passes exam, else the student fails the exam. Secondly, write a program that takes age from the user, and if the age is greater than or equal to 18, then it should print you are eligible to vote. Else, print you are not eligible to vote. So that's all from my side. The main points are in this lecture we covered if, elif, and else for decision making. We also use the two logical operators, that is the AND operator and OR operator. The important thing is that Python uses indentation spaces to know which code is inside if or else. So hopefully you understand if something is inside if, then you give it four spaces. Like let me go back and just tell you here. So for example, this line, so if this belong to this if, then it should be four spaces inside. Similarly, this print belongs to this else. So these are, if I print it like here, don't give any spaces, then that means this print does not belong to this else statement. So hopefully you understand this is called the indentation, or you can also call them the brackets. Like in mathematics, we have brackets, so we need to do everything inside the bracket. So these are exactly the same. So to summarize, we conditional statement are used to make decision in the programs. If runs code when a condition is true, else runs code when the condition is false. Elif is used for multiple conditions. We use these built-in functions, that is print function to display the output, input function to take input from the user, float function to take the decimal, to convert the input into decimal form. Similarly, we also use multiple times the input. Hopefully you understand. So let me write it again here. That is the, sorry, int function. So what does int convert the input into integer? Okay. Integers. So that's all from my side. I'll upload these on my GitHub so that you can easily play with these examples. So see you in the next lecture. Goodbye.